Success is a trap. Xiefeng, March 24th, 2021. Translation edited by Chinyo. I come from the thousand-year world, where there are no successes or failures, only enjoyers of life from beginning to end. In the thousand-year world, there are no such words or concepts as success and failure. In heaven, there is never talk of success. Everything unfolds and retracts naturally. In the plant and animal worlds, there is no talk of success. Only in the human realm is there talk of success and failure. Most of those who mess up their lives are the ones who pursue success. If you were to statistically analyze and summarize, most of those in prison are the ones who pursue success. The sea of suffering is boundless. Take a look at those in the sea of suffering. They are all lives seeking success. So, I draw a conclusion. Success is a trap. Who invented this trap? The answer is the devil. Is my conclusion correct? Everyone carefully observes human society. Who are the ones that drive people to strive for success? How do those who aspire to success end up? Are most of those who mess up their lives the ones who want success? What is success? Contending for the space of a snail's antler, or contend for a flash of light, is that success? Did Qin Shi Huang succeed? Broken walls where foxes sleep, deserted platforms where rabbits walk, all were places of singing and dancing in those days. Yellow flowers covered with cold dew, withering grasses looming in mist, all belong to the battlefields of the old times. Who succeeded? You've earned a lot of money, but you've never had time to appreciate the moonlight. Have you succeeded? Do you call that success? I cannot see a single successful person. I only see lives crushed by success, their faces distorted and souls shattered.
反常思维漫谈
Random talk about unconventional thinking. Zuanfeng, translated by Chinyu, edited by Peter. Where do people come from, and where do they go to? What is the essence of life? What is the purpose of living? What is the goal of life? What is the value and the meaning of life? Is life accidental? Is death inevitable? Is there a causal relationship between life and death? Do all the phenomena in nature happen accidentally, or are they predestined? Why did Einstein doubt quantum mechanics? Does the uncertainty principle of quantum mechanics indicate that the universe is disordered? How was the universe born? Is there a greatest creator in the universe? Are there gods, Buddhas, angels, and demons? How was life born? Was it created by the greatest creator? Or did it evolve from organisms over thousands of billions of years? It is stated in the Bible that all animals on the earth are intended for humans, and humans can eat their meat. And the Buddhist Shurangama Sutra clearly tells us that we must not kill animals or eat their meat. What exactly is going on? Were Adam and Eve the ancestors of all mankind? Were they also the ancestors of American Indians, Asian yellow races, African blacks, and European whites? What is destiny? Does everyone have their own trajectory of life? If so, can this trajectory of life be changed? What exactly did Lao Tzu mean by Tao in the Tao Te Ching? Can one become immortal by attaining Tao? For thousands of years, sages of all ethnic groups have been exploring the mysteries of the universe and the true meaning of life, but the answer is still far from us. In the last 100 years, due to the development of industrialization, especially the rapid advancement of transportation and the information technology, people's vision has become limited in the field of science, and the light of science has enveloped people's consciousness and thinking, prompting people to gallop freely in the physical realm of common sense, but they cannot enter the higher-level physical realm. Although New Era thinking appeared in the 50s and 60s of last century, it was only a faint glimmer of rational thinking, which could not be understood and accepted by the public. Nowadays, people are too busy with their daily activities due to the accelerated pace of life and have no time to calm down and think. Although universities around the world produce millions of college students and graduate students every year, they are basically biological robots. Their thinking is running according to scientific procedures, and few people can break through this existing way of thinking. In comparison, people today have more knowledge and materials than in the past, and they use more advanced methods to create things that humans need. They eat, wear, use, and play more and better, and are richer than in the past. People are supposed to be more leisurely, freer, and more relaxed, but the reality is that instead of feeling more relaxed and freer, people feel more exhausted and stressed. We can't help asking, is there something wrong with the way that humans have been thinking for thousands of years? Or do humans need unconventional thinking?
从莫比乌斯带谈起。
Talking about the Mobius strip. Xiefeng. Translated by Qinyu. Edited by Peter. A piece of paper has two sides. If an ant is placed on the front of the paper and is not allowed to turn over the edge of the paper or bite through the paper, how can it easily and unconsciously climb from the front of the paper to the back of the paper and reach any point on the paper? From the perspective of conventional thinking, this is absolutely impossible, but someone has solved this problem. He is the German mathematician August Ferdinand Mobius. Mr. Mobius' solution is, twist one end of the paper 180 degrees and stick it to the other. At this point, the ant can freely climb from the front to the back, and from the back to the front. This is the Mobius strip. The Mobius strip is the result of unconventional thinking. What seems impossible with conventional thinking is easy with unconventional thinking. So, what is unconventional thinking? Unconventional thinking is a paradox of conventional thinking, a reverse thinking that goes against the usual way of thinking. For example, the Empress Wu Zetian ordered flowers to bloom, which was described in Flowers in the Mirror. Conventionally speaking, only winter plums will blossom on cold days, and the rest of the flowers should be sparse on dead branches, and they should be withered, but Wu Zetian went beyond the norm and ordered, all flowers must blossom overnight. Don't wait for the morning wind to push you. As a result, except for peonies, all the flowers grew overnight. At dawn, the fragrant flowers were in glorious bloom, and the Chuanfang Garden and Shanglin Garden were verdant and pleasing, full of beautiful spring scenery. What is normal to one nation is contrary to common sense and unnatural to another nation. For example, the order in which British, Americans, and Chinese write addresses is a kind of unconventional thinking, such as British and American, 38, Cosbill Street, Columbia District, New York City, United States. China, United States, New York City, Columbia District, Cosbill Street, number 38. For another example, when people die, their loved ones will cry to express their sorrow and sadness, but some nations use laughter to express sorrow. At funerals, some ethnic groups consider it respectful to wear white clothes, while others consider it respectful to wear black clothes. The secular view holds that one is born to pursue enjoyment, while most religions, especially Buddhism, believe that one is born to suffer. Traditional science believes that space and time are absolute. Space is like a box, matter is a particle in this box, and time passes evenly. Modern science believes that space-time depends on the distribution of matter itself, and space-time is curved. Common sense believes that chicken feathers can fly in the sky, but iron blocks cannot fly in the sky, but today's reality shows that iron blocks, weighing tens of tons, can also fly in the sky. It was previously thought that any number could be represented by the ratio of two integers, but later it was discovered that some numbers, such as irrational numbers, could not be represented by the ratio of two integers. After the establishment of the theory of real numbers, the discovery of ethereal imaginary numbers was confusing. What is considered impossible in conventional thinking is easily solved by unconventional thinking. Topology is a kind of unconventional thinking. It can change the position of space and make the inside and outside of a confined space communicate, making it impossible to distinguish inside from outside, just like the Mobius strip. It is impossible to tell which is the front side, which is the reverse side. How can a person enter a sealed room, and how can one then get out of it? With conventional thinking, it is absolutely impossible, but if you think unconventionally, this matter is easy. It is just a different understanding of space. Can people be invisible? Conventional thinking has to say, this is the dreaming of an idiot. It is absolutely impossible. In fact, it is just a temporary distortion of space and time. Mankind has launched many spacecrafts to explore space. There are many purposes for this. Regardless of whether they admit it or not, one of the subconscious purposes is to find out whether there are stars outside the Earth for humans to live on. One side effect of this space exploration is the realization that the Earth's immediate neighbors are not suitable for human habitation, and the farther planets are a few light years or tens of light years away, which humans cannot reach within their limited lifespans. Humanity has only one Earth. This is the pessimistic conclusion obtained by the current exploration of space.
Impossible. Impossible. Absolutely impossible.
This is the conclusion obtained by conventional thinking. Einstein realized that the speed of light is the limit speed of the movement of matter, but he did not realize that the speed of non-material movement is the negative cosmic speed, and people can instantly reach a planet tens of light years away. Quantum mechanics believes that only one speed and position of a particle can be obtained, and accurate data of both cannot be measured at the same time. This uncertain principle has actually entered conventional thinking. The movement of a particle is disturbed by an infinite number of forces, so it cannot have a constant speed. In addition, the movement path of a particle is affected by other forces, so it cannot have a fixed line, which is why its speed and location cannot be measured at the same time. However, if we have a way to consider all the forces received by the particles and the magnitude and mode of action, then it is not difficult to measure the speed and position of the particles at the same time. Everything in the universe runs in an orderly manner, and particles are no exception. The current problem is that human intelligence has not yet reached the level of understanding all the forces in the universe. Quantum mechanics has entered the frontier zone, but this does not mean that the frontier zone is the marginal area of science, and we can also develop this in depth. Quantum mechanics can only end in the uncertainty principle. The development of science is endless, but the more knowledge humans carry, the slower they will move forward. 100 years ago, if people were able to master all the knowledge mankind accumulated by the age of 20, it is not possible now. Who would dare to say that he has encompassed all the knowledge accumulated by mankind by the age of 30? I am afraid that some people might have become exhausted and powerless before they reached the forefront of science. By extending quantum mechanics to humans, we find that humans are just particles. The gains and losses, misfortunes and blessings, illnesses and lifespans of human beings in the world happen to be within the uncertainty principle. We cannot accurately measure the length of a person's lifespan and his merits, demerits, gains, and losses in one's lifetime. However, all thinking that thinks of impossibilities belongs to conventional thinking. When we know that the universe is orderly and that life has a trajectory, we can analyze the hundreds of millions of factors that affect a person from an inevitable perspective, and we will find several sets of laws that affect life. From these laws, we can accurately measure a person's prosperity, adversity, poverty, lifespan, and fate of his entire life. Newton discovered universal gravitation, which explained a mystery of the universe. While benefiting mankind, at the same time it put a shackle on thinking of mankind. According to universal gravitation, it is impossible for a person to fly freely in the sky without the help of other tools. This has become conventional thinking again. But what people didn't expect is that gravitation is not universal. Gravitation is generated by motion. If the motion is large, the gravitation is large. If the motion is small, the gravitation is small. Where there is no motion, there is no gravitation, and where there is no gravitation, there is no weight. Cannot weightless people fly freely in the sky? Conventional thinking is going to laugh at me again. The Earth is in eternal motion, and people are eternally weighty. When the Earth stops moving, it is the end of life on the Earth. When can people fly freely in the sky? Conventional thinking is really troublesome. It doesn't consider the relationship among thinking, energy, and matter. Fax and email must be true, right? The technology of cloning can't be said to be fabricated, right? Is the fax or email we receive the same as the original? And is the cloned animal similar to the original one? All material things are just a matter of molecular arrangement, order, and structure. If the genetic structure of a pig is arranged in the order of a human genetic structure, then the pig will speak a human language. Could this be false? Then, can't people be faxed? Can't people be cloned? Substances cannot be faxed, but their structure and sequence can be faxed. We can pick up a phone and dial the number of a relative who is thousands of miles away. Although the person is thousands of miles away, the sound you hear is right close to your ears. Is there any doubt about this voice? With negative cosmic speed, a person's life structure and sequence can be faxed to a planet millions of light years away, and then endowed with energy, cloning, a new you will then be born. Since the sequence and structure are the same, your consciousness and memory still exist, consciousness and memory exist in the structure and sequence, and you will still be you, not someone else. Good. Since the Earth can't restrain us, and space distance can't obstruct us, then, can motion restrain us? Let's not talk about absolute motion, but relative motion. On the COMC, while sitting in a ship's cabin, if we don't look out of the window, can we feel motion? There will be no feeling of motion at all. We are living on the Earth that travels 25 million kilometers a day. Can we feel the Earth moving at high speed? No, we cannot. When two objects of the same mass fly in the same direction and at the same speed, there is, relatively speaking, no motion between them, so there is no gravitational force between them, relatively speaking. In this case, for the small object sandwiched between these two objects, neither motion nor gravitational force is felt. In other words, it loses weight and can now fly freely. Is there such a place in the universe? Yes, there is. Please see the chapter of 36-dimensional spaces. Let's look at the Mobius strip again. When turning a paper with front and back sides into a strip without front and back sides, the key to it is to flip one end of it 180 degrees. This flipping process is the process of unconventional thinking. The flip must be 180 degrees. If it flipped less or more, it will not be the true. It would become a way that is perverse, a perverse theory, and it will bring endless disasters. The unconventional thinking of the Mobius strip is by no means a trick played by magicians. It is a key to understanding the truth.
对立统一是宇宙的表象，不是宇宙的实质。
The unity of opposites is the image of the universe, not its essence. Xiefeng. Translated by Qin Yu. Edited by Peter. From the perspective of appearance, the universe embodies its opposition everywhere: truth and falsehoods, good and evil, beauty and ugliness, positive and negative, light and dark, yin and yang, prosperity and adversity, dynamic and static, superior and inferior, noble and lowly, rich and poor, life and death, front and back, big and small, good and bad, etc. But the Mobius strip tells us that there is only unity in the universe, but no opposition to it. Who can tell which is the front side and which is the back side of the M? By a strip. It has only one side, or in other words, there is a back side to the front side of the M, by a strip, and there is a front side to the back side of it. The front and the back side are perfectly intertwined and indistinguishable. Consider below the unity of opposites under conventional thinking. Up and down. Common sense believes that the top of the mountain is up and the foot of the mountain is down. The leaders are up and the masses are down. The sun is up and the earth is down. The head is up and the feet are down. The river has upstream and downstream. Unconventional thinking believes that there is no up and down in the universe, and that up and down is just a matter of concept. For example, the sun and the earth, from the perspective of the solar system, has no distinction of up and down, just the changing of positions. Is there up and down on the earth? The South Pole and the North Pole. Which pole is up and which pole is down? Look at the globe. Assuming that the surface of the earth is full of people, can you tell who is on top and who is on the bottom? Of course, we cannot. If we keep shrinking the earth to nothing, then all people on the earth will stand foot to foot, with their heads in the opposite direction. Now, who can tell whether the head is on top or the feet are on top? Of course, no one can. In the same way, is the top of the mountain up or the foot of the mountain up? Regardless of the direction, as long as we walk along a straight line, we will eventually return to the starting point. So, does the river have upstream and downstream? The masses can have no leaders, but the leaders must have masses. Then, are the masses at the top or are the leaders at the top? To have or not? Is there anything in the universe? In spring, flowers of all kinds are in bloom in the garden, contending in beauty and fascination, and in winter, what is left in the garden? Where are the dinosaurs? Where are our ancestors? If the Earth is hit by a laser beam from outer space, it will vanish instantly, and everything on the Earth, including the Earth itself, will disappear. What else do you have? Since elementary school, we have been struggling and striving in pursuit of possessions, but what do we get after death? A good name forever? Prosperous descendants? Immortal accomplishments? If the Earth shakes, will these things still exist? From a transcendental point of view, the more you pursue possessions, the result will be that you will own nothing. The more you pursue no possessions, the result will be that you will own everything. Shakyamuni, Jesus, Laozi, etc. did not pursue possessions, but they own everything. Thieves, liars, and corrupt officials are trying their best to pursue possessions, but they have nothing. If a peasant doesn't stop appropriately and think about his situation, he will always be a peasant. If a worker does not stop and look around, he will always be a worker. If a person does not calm down and perceive, he will always be a human. There is everything in emptiness, and there is emptiness in everything. I once asked a friend to give up everything and practice Taoism with me, but he couldn't let go of everything he had. He also wanted to glorify his ancestors and leave a good name for posterity. Watching him fall into human society and plunge into the real void, I could do nothing. With obstructed thinking, one is powerless. The sea of bitterness is boundless, so repent and be saved. Here repenting is unconventional thinking. Success and failure. There are no successes or failures in life. There are only different life trajectories. Success and failure are just the concepts of the laity. In the eyes of the laity, success is rank promoted, fortune made, and ancestors glorified, while failure is losing one's official position, losing money, being laid off, and being divorced. But from the perspective of the ultimate goal of life, only the 8 immortals and the 8 immortals crossing the sea, each showing their magical powers, are the winners. Looking back at thousands of years of recorded human history, who was the winner? The Egyptian pharaoh? Alexander? Caesar? Constantine? Charlemagne? Napoleon? King Arthur? Gregorian? Henry? Genghis Khan? Peter the Great? Washington? Lincoln? Hitler? Stalin? Gandhi? Mao Zedong? Bush? The heads of each state? Aristotle? Bacon? Dante? Columbus? Confucius? Martin Luther? Rousseau? Montesquieu? Voltaire? Marx? Darwin? Shakespeare? Newton? Einstein? Planck? Watson? Rockefeller? Bill Gates? If these people are successful, then are the others losers? If the dispossessed, homeless beggars along the street are defined as losers, then are the rest winners? Who is the winner? Who is the loser? Is there really a successful life? If there is no successful life, are all people failures? We annihilated 40,000 enemy troops. We succeeded. Did you succeed because you killed 40,000 lives? I frustrated all the competitors. I succeeded. Does it count as success by frustrating others? Dude, congratulations. We successfully robbed the Reserve Bank. It's so comfortable. I succeeded in swindling him out of all his money. You are so smart that you successfully transferred the company's property to your private account abroad. We successfully blew up the World Trade Center. We successfully released the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. I successfully spread the SARS virus. I successfully cloned people so that people don't know whose father he is or whose son he is. We successfully discharged wastewater into the river, and so on. Are these all successes? The well-known Napoleon Hill wrote a book, The Law of Success. His book has been sold in more than 30 countries and more than 20 million copies in more than 20 languages. He himself is called the creator of millionaires. Great. It's really great. But someone once said, walk along an impeccable line of reasoning. Everything is normal, but at the end you suddenly find yourself caught in a dilemma. I wonder if Mr. Hill has come to the end and found himself in a dilemma. The law of success teaches people how to succeed. So does it mean that people who have not read the law of success are losers? At what level is one considered successful? How much wealth does one need to have to be counted as successful? How many bank robberies does it take to be considered a success? How many times can piracy be considered a success? How many rivers should one pollute to be considered a success? How much money should one embezzle to be considered as a success? How many children should one have to be considered as successful? How many multinational group companies does one need to establish to be considered as successful? If one side of a piece of paper is success and the other side is failure, then if this piece of paper is turned into a Mobius strip, how do we distinguish between success and failure? Gains and losses. Gaining is losing. Losing is gaining. The more you gain, the more you lose. The less you gain, the less you lose. Without losing, you will gain nothing. Without gaining, you will lose nothing. From middle school textbooks, we know the theorem of indestructibility of matter. Strictly speaking, it is not called the theorem of indestructibility of matter. It should be called the theorem of indestructibility of energy. Matter has birth and death, while energy is eternal in the universe. Energy is conserved, that is, the energy in the universe is a definite number. Energy will neither increase nor decrease. As the energy on the Earth increases, the energy on the Sun decreases, the temperature of water increases, and the amount of fuel is reduced. The more one experiences in life, the shorter one's life becomes. The more wisdom one has gotten, the whiter one's hair will be. Energy is a definite number, so what else is a definite number in the universe? Within the current range of the solar system, the time sequence is a fixed number. The 24 solar terms of the lunar calendar set by Chinese sages, beginning of spring, rain, awakening of insects, spring equinox, Qingming, grain rain, start of summer, lesser fullness, grain in ear, summer solstice, minor heat, major heat, start of autumn, end of heat, white dew, autumn equinox, cold dew, frost descent, start of winter, light snow, heavy snow, winter solstice are fixed numbers. The 5 elements, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, and heavenly stems and earthly branches, Jia yi bing ding wu ji gung xian ren kue, and zi cho ina meo chen si wu wei shin yu su hai, and the 12 animal signs, rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, chicken, dog, and pig, corresponding to each year, month, day, and hour are all definite numbers. The method of choosing the day of good fortune and bad fortune in the art of becoming invisible, Taoist magic, which was calculated from the primordial 8 trigrams by Wenwang of the Zhou dynasty and was later used by Jiang Zia, Zhang Liang, and Zhuge Liang, is a definite number. The Earth's moving trajectory and rotation speed are fixed numbers. The waxing and waning of the moon is a fixed number. The ocean's ebb and flow is a fixed number. Women's menstrual cycles are a fixed number. And the lifespan of animals and plants is a fixed number. An elephant will not live 300 years. A poplar tree will not grow for 300 years. The dry and rainy seasons in Zimbabwe are fixed numbers. The mineral resources and water volume on the Earth are fixed numbers. The number of hairs a person can grow is a fixed number. The ratio of height to the maximum distance between the 2 middle fingers is a fixed number. The number of legs and the number of heads a human has is a fixed number. Springs have an elastic limit, steel has a fatigue limit, various objects have a limit of motion, animals and plants have a growth limit, and all artificial products have a maximum service life. No matter how good the car is, after running for a certain number of kilometers, it is bound to be eliminated and scrapped. Within a certain altitude, the temperature at which water boils is a fixed number, and the temperature at which it freezes is also a fixed number. The ignition point of various substances is a fixed number. The saturation of various compounds is a fixed number. The composition ratio of various colors is a fixed number. The traveling speed of sound is a fixed number, and the frequency of the sound that humans can hear and the wavelength of the light that human eyes can see are fixed numbers. Everything within the range of rational numbers is a definite number. The amount of money, the length of life, the height of rank, the size of influence, etc., are all within the range of rational numbers, so they are all fixed numbers. Everything about humans is within the range of rational numbers, so everything about humans is definite. Everything that changes with time and space is within the range of rational numbers and is definite. Is everything in the range of irrational numbers not definite? The most famous irrational number is pi. Pi equals 314,159,265,3589. The other is the golden ratio phi. Phi equals 1.61803398874989484821. These are two of the infinite mysteries of the universe that ordinary people know. But where is their ending? Are they also limited by time and space? As a Chinese Taoist saying goes, heaven's secrets should never be revealed. Secular people use this sentence to keep secrets. In fact, the essence of this sentence refers to the development trend and definite number of things within the scope of irrational numbers. Long-term unconventional thinking can lead to one's spiritual transcendence. After transcending the regular ethics, one can realize many heavenly secrets. Heavenly secrets can be leaked. The key is to whom should they be leaked? Jesus taught us, "Do not give that which is holy to the dogs, neither cast your pearls before the hogs." The Yellow Emperor's Hidden Talisman Classic says, after realizing the heavenly secret, virtuous people will settle down and practice it, while the villains will get carried away and act rashly and even ruin their destinies. The Tao Te Ching said, "The main path, Tao, heavenly secrets, is easy to walk on, yet people love the small bypaths. He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know." Those who understand the secrets of heaven know the art of non-action, but if they reveal these secrets to ordinary people, it will lead to the downfall of unwise individuals who act recklessly and perish prematurely. Chuang Tzu. Shakyamuni once said to Subhuti, "The Tathagata expounds it to those initiated into the Mahayana and the Supreme Yana. Those who take delight in the Hinayana, Theravada, and hold the view of an ego, a personality, a being, and a life, cannot listen to, receive, hold in mind, read and recite this sutra and explain it to others." The heavenly secret is not forbidden to be divulged. The key is that it will lead to a bad result if it is divulged. If I say, what can be imagined in the human brain is real, this will cause countless people to go astray. If you suddenly give a poor man 1,000,000 ounces of gold, he will be restless both day and night. He has to guard against thieves and robbers. He has to deal with his neighbors and friends borrowing money from him, and the many demands of kinsfolks and relatives. He has to deal with the local bureaucrats' apportionment as well as the advice and suggestions of good-hearted people and gentlemen, which will end up hurting him. So, I have to say, what I said is all nonsense. Although the heavenly secrets cannot be leaked, I can reveal a little information from the irrational numbers pi, and phi, golden ratio. One is the universe is infinite and life is infinite. The second is, as a person, one's life is a finite cycle, but once the life goes beyond the category of a rational number, it enters the range of an irrational number. His life becomes infinite and non-repeating. It is like what is said in the Buddhist scripture, beyond the 3 realms and no longer subject to the 5 elements. It is also like speed. If the speed of an object is less than 7,900 meters per second, it can only live on the earth. But if it is greater than or equal to 7,900 meters per second, but less than 11,180 meters per second, it can fly around the Earth. But once its speed exceeds 11,180 meters per second, it can get rid of the gravitational restraint of the Earth, and it enters the huge solar system. When its speed exceeds 16,670 meters per second, it can freely enter the vast galaxy and experience the galaxy's various appearances and exceeding fascination and charm. The third is, time only exists in the world of rational numbers. There is no time in the world of irrational numbers. The wisdom of ordinary people has developed from natural numbers to irrational numbers, which can be said has reached its limit. If it develops further, it will enter the field of complex numbers, which is the field of thinking of gods and Buddhas. For example, the imaginary number 1 is not of the wisdom that ordinary people can understand, because imaginary numbers have illusory properties. You cannot find a practical example in the material world. Although imaginary numbers are used in electrical engineering and quantum mechanics, they are just a drop in the bucket of imaginary numbers, which is still polar away from the correct and comprehensive understanding of imaginary numbers. Let's put aside irrational numbers and complex numbers. Within the range of rational numbers, everything has a definite number. As far as people are concerned, the number of things everyone owns has been limited in their own life structure, just like the amount of water on the Earth. If there is more water in the ocean, there will be less water in lakes and rivers, or less water in glaciers, or less groundwater. It is impossible to increase everywhere, because the amount of water on the Earth is a fixed number, a constant. The things one can own in life are definite numbers, such as health, longevity, beauty, wealth, reputation, freedom, happiness, wisdom, safety, children, etc. If the number of a person's possessions is set as 1, then each factor, assumed to be 10, accounts for 0.1. These factors are all on a very sensitive polyhedral seesaw. When beauty is greater than 0.1, the amount of health will be less than 0.1, or the share of reputation will decrease. When the amount of wealth is greater than 0.1, the quantity of freedom or happiness will decrease. And when the knowledge increases, the lifespan may become shorter and shorter. In a word, if one factor increases, the other or several other factors will decrease, and the total amount remains unchanged at 1. The definite number of people cannot be limited to a few years, decades, or hundreds of years. Otherwise, your understanding will go astray. Some people may use examples from real society to deny this theorem and ask, how do you explain a person who became a high-ranking official and made a fortune, has many wives and concubines, lives a long and healthy life, has a good reputation, and has many children and grandchildren? This involves the transformation of time and space and life structure. God Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, "But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation." Luke 6 verse 24. Buddha Shakyamuni said, furthermore, Subhuti, if a virtuous man or woman receives, holds in mind, reads and recites this sutra and is despised by others, this person who is bound to suffer from evil destinies in retribution for his past sins, and whose karmic sins are now eradicated by the other's contempt, will attain supreme enlightenment. Anuttarasami Sambodhi. Diamond Sutra, Chapter 16. Karmic obstructions can be purified. Immortal Laozi said, when one is about to take an inspiration, he is sure to make a previous expiration. When he is going to weaken another, he will first strengthen him. When he is going to overthrow another, he will first have raised him up. When he is going to despoil another, he will first have made gifts to him.
Tao Te Ching, Chapter 36.
To sum up the teachings of gods, Buddhas, and immortals, it means that if you get more in this life, there will be less in your next life. If you suffer in this life, you will enjoy happiness and blessedness in the next life. If you are overspending from your bank account, you will have no money to use at critical times. If Tao wants to restrain you, it must first expand you. To weaken you, it must first strengthen you. To discard you, it must first make you prosper. To take away your blessings, it will first give you temporary enjoyment. In short, no matter where you go, what you own will always be one. In my opinion, those who are rich and powerful are very poor, and their prospects are very worrying, while those who are suffering, although their lives are extremely difficult, their prospects are very splendid. This is the paradox, which is hard to understand because of the lack of examples in reality. If I say, people enjoy blessings today because they accumulated virtues in their previous lives, and they are enjoying the blessings they gained by self-improvement in their previous lives. It is hard for people to believe it because few people know their own past life and future life, let alone other people's past lives and future lives. Without unconventional thinking, we cannot make the connection between the past life, the present life, and the next life, just like we can't organically combine the front side with the back side. The most valuable and meaningful life is one where you give more and enjoy less. People may be unfair to you, but heaven, the greatest creator, never will. Above, I only gave examples of oppositions of up and down, having and not having, success and failure, gain and loss, from which we can see that opposition is the appearance of the universe, while unity is the essence of the universe.